I'm so excited to have you here, Luke. This is, you and I have really never had a conversation before. And when Greg Sharp of the World Series of Armwrestling asked me to do a little interview with you, I was thrilled. And then when you jumped onto the internet just now, we were getting some technical stuff worked out, and your background was fabulous. I mean, you have this beautiful place out there, and you had to move inside, which the background is just as gorgeous. But you're in South Dakota, and this would be a great magazine article for promoting South Dakota. But you're a champion, Luke. How do you pronounce your last name so I don't butcher it?
Pulscher.
Pulscher. Okay.
Like vulture with a P.
Okay. Luke Pulscher, you've been arm wrestling for over 2 decades. You have dominated the Midwest area, Dakotas, Wyoming, and everywhere. And some of your best tournaments, have they been as a grandmaster or masters or just in the open class? What do you say is your favorite win?
I don't know that I have a favorite. I've got favorite wins over people. I compete in both the Masters and the Open Pro. I'm not a Grandmaster yet. I started winning national titles in 2017 after I fixed my nutrition and quit being a fat kid and went from 250 pounds to 185. That pretty much changed the sport for me, because I was always pretty good at the heavier weight classes, but not as good as you need to be really competitive at those heavier weights, and lost the weight and held the strength, and it worked out pretty good. So
that's amazing. Now, I would love to know more about what you felt when you won your first match. And I also want to know a little bit about who you're gunning for in the World Series of Arm Wrestling. So we'll be thinking about that. But you made this change in 2017, and suddenly you lost all this weight and you started competing. Who was your first match against, and what was that like?
I don't remember my first match, but I remember at nationals in Lake Tahoe. It was very memorable for a couple of reasons. One, it was my first national title, but my son Wyatt was there with me, and he won the 18 and under national title. And then I won the 198 Masters. And one of the matches I had there was Mike West. And the reason that match is so memorable is, I mean, Mike has been an icon in the sport forever, and, many titles. And before that match, Bob Brown, who's a great friend of mine, came up to me and he said, no matter what you do not hook Mike West. He said, you cannot beat him in a hook. You have to try to top roll him. Don't do it. And I said, okay, Bob. So went up to the table. I shook Mike's hand. I turned around to get my chalk. The whole time in my head, I'm going to try to top roll Mike. I turned back around to the table. I looked at him and I went, nope, I want to know. And we went right into a hook, and I pinned Mike. And I stepped off of the stage, and Bob Brown comes up to me and goes, never mind.
So that's the time you went from boys to men in arm wrestling. You said, I can hold my own. You just knew.
Yep. And then the next day I won the 187 Open Pro class. So I came home with 2 national titles, my first 2. My son came home with 1. And then we both that year went to Budapest, Hungary with Team USA, and both finished 10th in the world. I finished 10th in the Masters. He finished 10th in the juniors, the 18 and under. I don't remember where I placed in the Open Pro, but it wasn't good that year. I top 20, I think, but maybe it was top 25.
Wow.
So that was a great year just for a lot of reasons. I kind of reintroduced myself in the sport at a lower weight class. I got to do it with my son. So that was a good deal.
Yeah. And they say arm wrestling, it's in your blood. It's got to be in your blood. And you become this arm wrestler, like they say, and respectfully with Marines, once a Marine, always a Marine. There's something about arm wrestling in the community that once you're in it, it just becomes like family, no matter whether you're in Budapest or in Japan, as I went to in the Worlds years ago. There's always some form of something. And if I find out that there's an arm wrestler from any country. You know, we bring them over and say, come stay with us in San Diego. Now you've got a great place. Do you have a training area in your home, or do you go out to another training spot? Who's your team up there?
So I've got both. I've got some equipment in my shop that I can do some work with there, but I'm not good at working out at home. I never have been. I'm a go to the gym guy. When I'm at the gym, I'm there for that purpose and that purpose only, and I do really well. So my gym that I go to is 3 blocks from my office, and the gym owner is very, very accommodating to me. Like basically all the rules he has in his gym, like no duffel bags in the gym, all these different things, he just lets me ignore them. So I come in with my bag full of handles. I've got one of those half tables for training that he lets me keep in the gym so I can pull it out and use it with the cable machines. So yeah, David at the weight room in Rapid City is awesome. He's been a huge supporter of me for years, and stuff. So that's really beneficial. Team wise, I don't have anybody close. So my closest training partner is 2.5 hours away. Wow. And that's AJ Henson. AJ has been phenomenal in my progression in the sport. And then another hour further than that is Corey Miller.
Wow. Well, so, Alan does that too. He drives up to LA or whatever, but he has some unique tools and tricks of the trade that he uses when he goes to a gym, and he'll climb all, you know, unconventionally up on top of a different kind of machine just to get the right pull, just the right angle. You do the same? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, yeah, I mean, there's my favorite tricep exercise I do on a leg press machine. But yeah, so my table time is pretty limited. I might get table time once a month.
Wow, that's but incredible for what you've accomplished.
Yeah, there are some new to the sport arm wrestlers in my area. And so I get to work with them when my schedule allows or theirs. The last year has been recovery. Last year at Nationals, I tore the bicep tendon off the bone, had to have surgery to fix it. So I've been very, very careful of who I would let touch my arm, because I didn't want somebody that didn't know anything to do something stupid, and then I have to hide their body, and it's a whole thing. So, but I just got back from Brazil. I was in Brazil last weekend. Gabriela Vasconcelos reached out to me and said, "Hey, Luke, would you come down and train our referees?"
Oh.
And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." Yep. And you know, she says, "You know, we can cover your flight and give you a place to stay. What would you charge us?" I'm like, "Nothing. Oh, you cover my flight and I'm there."
Yeah.
So I went and then I asked if I could enter the tournament. And I couldn't because it was a qualifier for their nationals. But she said, "I've got a match for you if you want it." So I had a super match, best of 5 with Rodrigo Valentinum, and I know I'm not saying that right, who is their current 198 Brazilian national champ. Mm. And so went down there, great young man. I don't know his age, but I'm going to guess late 20s, really fast, really strong. I think if you would have asked anyone in Brazil, I was a heavy underdog. I think after watching some videos and some things, Corey Miller thought I was an underdog. I think AJ thought I was the underdog. I can comfortably say my arm is recovered because I won that match 3-0. And it wasn't, I mean, no disrespect to Rodrigo, but it wasn't that hard. I was in complete control the whole time. And I'm a little bit of the talk of South America right now because he is very well respected down there. So that was a good win for so many reasons. But the main one is that I really feel now my arm is back, probably better than it was when I tore it up.
Yeah, they say that we come back stronger after we've had some kind of break or injury. What doesn't kill you doesn't make, you know, makes you stronger. Now you're coming back from all of that and the win, and congratulations. And now we're moving into the World Series of Arm Wrestling, and we're so grateful for Greg Sharp for putting this on the map. And there's 4 corners of the United States, but people are coming from all over, and there's people new to the sport, and there's people from other countries coming in. I believe that's correct. Now there's July 8th, 22nd, July 8th in Texas, 22nd in New York, August 26th in California, Riverside, and September 9th in Utah. Are you going to any of those, all of those? Is there someone in particular you're gunning for? What's the story now as we go into this series?
Right. So in visiting with Greg last, I guess, winter, and he wanted me to kind of be one of the featured athletes, which was awesome. That's a huge honor. But I actually bowed out of that because we were building this house that you see in the background, and I didn't know where my arm was at for recovery. And honestly, as much as I love the World Series of Arm Wrestling, I hate the weight classes, because 170 I can't get to, and 210 is too big. So it sucks for weight classes. But I hope to make the September 9th in Utah. That's the goal. Then Brazil popped up, and the end of July Bowl, and adding Texas in between there. Just I have a very wonderful, understanding wife, but she's not that understanding to where I can be gone all the time. So I'm shooting for September 9th in Utah. I don't know what to expect from that weight class there. Obviously, it'll be the 210 weight class or the 209 or whatever it is. I used to be able to make 176 with a pretty rough cut. I'm sitting about 200 right now, and I'm a pretty good in shape 200. I want to get back down to about 190, 185 for the 187 class at the big events. I just don't know that. I don't know that 170 was ever actually reachable for me and being able to perform. I really don't think it is now. So at 209, I mean, Justin Green will be in Utah. He's a tank. I haven't pulled Justin for years. The last time we pulled, I won, but we were both very, very different people the last time we pulled. If there's anybody right now that I know is doing the World Series stuff that I want another crack at, it's Jamie Sheldon.
Okay.
And Jamie knows that. Jamie and I go back and forth talking quite a bit. That great guy. I love Jamie to death. I pulled him the first time in 2019 at the Unified Nationals in LA. And he false started right into my power, and I was ripping him across the table to pin him, and Bill Collins called the false start. And Jamie made an adjustment like he should as the high-level arm wrestler that he is, won that match. He had to beat me twice because he was on the B side, and he managed to do that. And then 4 or 5 months later, I pulled him in Utah, and again, he was able to hang me up outside, keep me out of my power. So I have been working a tremendous amount the last 6 months on my hand and wrist. I'm not saying that it's impossible to top roll me now, but it's getting a lot harder. And power to power, I can hang with Jamie. I have no doubt of that in my mind. I think Jamie would agree with that. It's just if I can put him where I need him. So, but yeah, right now with who I know is going to the World Series, Jamie would be my hit list right there.
If you were to enter any tournament at the World Series right now, you would definitely go to the Utah one or try to make it because you've got family commitments. And I'm very aware of that with over 30 years of arm wrestling. And Alan and myself, we had to make it a thing where we had a little getaway in order to be together. But family commitments, and, we come and go, but we're always there in spirit. So you are thinking about Utah in September 9th, if it works out, and Jamie Sheldon would be someone that you're gunning for, and of course the tank Justin Green. Is that right?
Yeah, I'd like to pull Justin again. It's probably been a decade since Justin and I have pulled.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So then is there anything else you want to add for someone just starting arm wrestling, but they're an up and coming and they're really powerful? They seem to be winning everything they turn around. What one thing would you give them as sage advice, and knowing the experience you've had with broken arms and travel and tournaments and family? what would you say to someone who is just starting out, that was just really taking off actually and winning?
I find the people you can't beat and arm wrestle them as many times as you can.
Table time is the best train, isn't it?
Well, I mean, just find the tournaments where the best guys are at and go. If you're avoiding tournaments because you don't think you can win them, which unfortunately we have a lot of people in our sport that do that right now, you should go play soccer. I mean, go somewhere where you can get a tie and be happy. But
Oh,
I
those
mean,
are good
go
words.
get losses. Yeah, go get losses. Go find the people that you can't beat and figure out how to beat them. Would be the number one, and then second would be any chance you have to pull internationally, take it because it will up your game.
Mm-hmm. Because it's a whole different world out
As you and Alan well know.
there. Yes, we do.
Whole different world.
Whole different world. Well, Luke.
Yep. Every time I come back from Worlds, I come back better.
Yes, yes. Better in spirit with people, the camaraderie. This community is second to none. I believe that we have a second family with our arm wrestling family for sure.
Cool. Sure.
Yeah, Luke Pulscher, champion and great man. It's been wonderful to chat with you. Say hi to your lovely wife and enjoy that great outdoors you have there. Happy Independence Day weekend. We've got this long weekend now, so enjoy it. Are you barbecuing or celebrating? What are you doing out there?
We are actually headed to Colorado to go visit Wyatt. He's a whitewater rafting guide down there for the summer, so we're going to go see him. We haven't seen him in a couple months.
Oh, fabulous. Well, you're extraordinary parents and parental units, as our son says. And I'm really grateful for you taking the time to hang out with me.
Yeah, thanks so much for the opportunity. This is fun.